This is the tech that's going to change your Spright deck. How's it going, YouTube? Welcome back to another video on the channel, and today I got this incredible looking playmat, and I just had to share with you my new pure Spright frog list. No tears, no dangers, no runics, no shenanigans. I really think that the pure version right now is the best one. Before we begin, make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe if you are new and want to see a lot more content like this, and let's jump right into it. So I got this amazing playmat from Triff Gaming. I mean, Triff really nailed it with this one. This is absolutely amazing. Look at this. So after going around in circles and playing a lot of decks recently, I came back to the decision that I really wanted to try Spright again, and I really wanted to try it with the pure variant and add a little bit more spice to it. And hint, this is the spice, and we're gonna get back to that in a minute. And before that, let's just jump into the deck profile and explain all the decisions behind the ratios and what I did here. So of course, since we're playing sprites, we're gonna be playing 3 blue, 3 jet. We're gonna be playing 1 red, 1 carrot, and 1 pixies. If you're not playing pixies, you're absolutely out of your mind. This card wins games, and when the opponent doesn't even know you have it in your hand, it's actually insane. I played again against a MathMac player on DB a few days ago. He wanted to go for the OTK. He didn't have a lot of resources, so he just went for the big final Sigma guy. Attacked. He had like a double attack and attacking twice through other cards' effects. He attacked my elf. I just had this in my hand randomly, activated it, and it definitely absolutely won me my game. So for the rest of the Spright cards, we have, of course, 3 starter, and we're playing 2 smashers. I think this is something that came up a lot recently in a lot of big tournament lists. I think this currently is correct. You have 2 outs that are searchable. Of course, it's not ideal when you have to main deck a lot of cards that might not be very effective in other matchups, but this is currently the game. We still have Mystic Mine, it's still a threat, and unfortunately we're going to have to dedicate space in the main deck for it. So this is specifically why I have 2 of these here, but of course this is the pretty standard lineup, except for Pixies, which I think you should definitely be playing. We have our Frogs, which are of course the 3 swap and the 1 Ronin, and I'm a Diva advocate. I'm going to be advocating for playing Divas. I think this is actually the best normal summon. I really dislike playing the Nimble package with the Nimble Beavers and the Angler and the Foolish. I really dislike it, and the fact that I like this so much is that it's a tuner. So you have a lot more tuner and actually a synchro play in my list that just doesn't exist anywhere else, and it's one that basically kills the biggest rival of this deck, which is Tearlaments. So this is why I will always run 3 Divas for now. And this is basically the monster lineup. Besides that, we have some utility and hand traps. We have 3 Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion. I will say that I think this is the best hand trap in the format right now. It hits basically everything that matters. It hits MathMax, it kills Tearlaments, it will hit the mirror match because you can chain it and negate the totally awesome your opponent activates, or summoning the Ronin Toned from graveyard. And I think this does a lot more than any other hand trap. This is why I'm maxing it out at 3. We have DD Crow, which is like a mini version of Ghost Bell, which is now once per turn and not limited to anything. So you can just, for example, if your Tearlaments opponent is trying to set up something from the graveyard, you just banish it with DD Crow. Super impactful and good. We have 3 Nibiru, which I think a lot of people just aren't playing against it, including Spright players. You can easily punish a player who is not really concentrated and not really knowing what they're doing with Nibiru, and I think this is crucial. And we have 3 Infinite Impermanence, which I think is really good. Going first, going second, just leaving it in your hand and using it as a negate on your turn, also pretty amazing. And we have an additional board breaker in Dark Ruler No More. This is just clutch. I think these cover a lot of your opponent's turn. They don't actually get to play that much, and Dark Ruler No More kind of seals the deal if this didn't do enough of a job. So I've had a lot of Dark Ruler top decks in recent times, and this just shuts down a lot of the boards. So I think these 15 cards guarantee that going second and first, you will have your turn and actually get to OTK. And then for a few utility cards, we have 2 Pot of Desires. I think this is, I currently don't own Prosperities, and I will when the tins come out. So for now, I'm playing 2 Desires, and I actually really like this because you do your combo. This deck is extremely consistent. There's barely any hands that you don't get to play with. So you go through your combo, then you just activate Desires at the end. You don't need to banish like anything crucial, and you just draw usually an additional 2 hand traps. So it's really good, and that's why I'm playing Desires right now. Also, I'm playing 1 Called by the Grave, and I am playing 1 Red Reboot in the main deck. And you might think that I'm tripping, and you might think that Harpy's Feather Duster will be a better fit here, but I think that Red Reboot in the main deck currently prevents you from losing to the things that this deck loses to the most. And I'm just gonna go dip into my side deck a little bit while this is still here, and consider that this is in the main deck. I think the main spice is here in the side deck, and we have 1 Driver. We have, of course, 3 Gammas, which is really good for the mirror match, really good going second. And we have the Psyframe Gear Epsilon. So if you don't know what this card does, this is essentially the same thing as Gamma, but this says when your opponent activates a trap card, when you control no monsters, you can activate this from your hand, special summon it, summon the driver, negate, destroy. So why these are so important? Because think about the things that Spright loses to currently. So you're talking about Anti-Spell, you're talking about Deck Devastation Virus, you're talking about the Epidemic Eradicator Virus, you're talking about Mischief of the Gnomes, you're talking about In the Band Played On, you're talking about all the Floodgates, which are obviously trap cards. Back row is really hard for this deck, and if somebody sets up Deck Devastation Virus, that's basically all it takes. If you didn't open starter in your hand, you auto lose. So I think this in the main deck plus this in the side deck, this is the spice that just prevents you from losing to those unwinnable situations, you know, if they open Deck Devastation Virus, but that's what they always do. Tier limits can set up anything from their deck and graveyard to the field. So this is exactly what the deck does, and it's usually 99% of the time trap cards, and this is why you don't just rely on the 1 Red Reboot to negate and be able to play, you're also relying on 3 other copies of Psyframe Gear Epsilon, which essentially do a very similar thing. So this is just like a peek into the side deck and a reasoning why Red Reboot is actually in my main deck. Then we're going to continue on to the extra deck, and not a lot of special things here, but I think this extra deck is like really tight, and I think mostly correct in 99% of situations. We have 2 Gigantic Spright, we have 1 Totally Awesome, and we have the Zeus package. We have, of course, the Sky Cavalry Centuria, insane card, just insane utility. We have the Downerd, and we have the Divine Arsenal AA Zeus. And this is usually enough for a lot of the plays. Usually you just open, if you have a big board to get rid of, Dark Ruler and climbing up to this is extremely easy. Otherwise, you know, Gigantic, totally very standard. I think this is really important to have in your deck because it's so easy to go up to, and you shouldn't give this up ever, you know. Dark Ruler on a field of like 7 cards, you just wipe them all out with Zeus. So I think this is very important. Next, we have the 1 Almirage, which I think is still really valuable. Sometimes you just open a Swap Frog and you can climb up to Gigantic with Almirage, and this is the only thing that unbreaks your hand. We have the 3 Spright Elf. I think 3 is the standard. It shouldn't be below 3. If you go below 3, you're risking your follow-up and you're risking your grind, basically. This deck doesn't grind very well compared to other decks, so 3 allows you to do that grind. Then we have Crystron, Hulk Vibrex, and again, since you're playing Diva, you can play this and you can climb up to access code so quickly to get an OTK, and of course access code is here just for the big damage, and this basically enables that none of the Xyz monsters that summon from the graveyard or from the banished, I really dislike those, so I much rather play Hulk, a much better advantage in my opinion. We have Masquerena, which is pretty standard. We have the Unicorn, we have the access code talker. Again, this is the line, very easy to go for game once you've cleared out the board and gained control on the field. You don't want to waste another turn waiting for your opponent to draw an out to your deck. You're just going to go big and go for game. So this is why we have all of this package here. And Herald of the Arclight. This is, again, another reason why I really like playing Diva. Sometimes, usually, you will have scraps laying on your field, and you can definitely go for Herald at some point. This turns off the Tier Limits deck pretty much completely. So if you can get to this, it's worth an extra deck spot, and it's worth playing the Diva. So this is basically the extra deck. And the side deck. So you already saw a few things from the side deck. We have the 1 driver, we have the 3 Epsilon. I gotta tell you, pick this up, try this. This deck loses basically only to trap cards. All the trap cards are very, very impactful against this deck. This makes sure that you have 4 reboots in your deck and not just 1. Then we have, of course, the Gammas, which are really good in the mirror match as well. So I really like playing them. And we got the 3 Appointer of the Red Lotus. I still like playing this card. It just usually ends your opponent's turn. It usually takes out the 1 out that they had. If it's a Lava Golem, if it's a Sphere Mode, if it's a Dark Ruler no more, it takes out the 1 piece, and then you can deal with the other 5 cards in their hand that are just like Engine. You have enough negates and enough interruptions. Again, with all the hand traps, with Double Toad, with Herald if you have it, you can definitely stand up to it. We have 3 Cosmic Cyclone. I think this is the best removal currently, with Mystic Mine being still prevalent, with you not really wanting to discard a lot of cards from your hand, and with Runic in the game. This is currently the best removal in my opinion. And this is a flex spot, but we're playing 2 evenly matched just to get rid of those big boards and also bait out a must negate in this case. So thank you so much for watching. As always, let me know down in the comments what you thought about all of this new spice. Are you still playing pure Spright and love it just as much as I do? Don't forget to let me know down in the comments below. Make sure to leave a thumbs up on the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to see a lot more content like this. Thank you again for Triff Gaming for this amazing looking playmat. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you as usual in the next one. Peace.